Part 25. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 241. Chapter 241, Wait for Me. If it weren't for the fetal poison, he would have left here as early as 15 or 16 years old, and he would have met Yu Xianglou there. If he couldn't meet her, Ji Zhong knew that he would probably be alone on the road to strength for the rest of his life. After all, a woman who could impress his heart didn't appear so easily. His relationship is very thin. His mother died when he was born, and his father died when he was 6 years old. The current emperor, his half-brother, wanted him to die because of his father's favor. He had experienced countless assassinations and poisonings. Therefore, after the marriage incident, he chose to let his royal brother lie on the dragon bed where life would be worse than death. I never thought that one day I would actually fall in love with a woman, the kind of love that goes deep into my bones. He felt that maybe God couldn't bear to see the injustice of fate to him, so he gave him a lover who could walk side by side with him. Ji Zhong pulled back his distant thoughts and stood not far away with his hands behind his hands, watching Yan Xianglou. Master, the word has arrived. Chang Feng and the others have already set off. Uninhibited voice came. With Ji Zhong's thought, Wuji returned to the spirit pet space, and then came out of the spirit pet space and stood on Ji Zhong's shoulders and looked at Yan Xianglou. Master, are you going to break through to the 9th level of the supreme level? Should be. One master and one pet communicate with each other using spiritual consciousness. Okay, now I admit that she is as great a genius as the master, Wuji said in a tone of resignation. Because of the rumors that Ruoxiang had lost her 5 spiritual roots and was a waste, and that she had not broken through to the UN level where she could really start practicing until she was 13 years old, Wuji was very angry. Why should she quit the relationship with its owner Ji Zhong? Marriage. It's not that Wuji likes Yan Xianglou very much, but that he feels that if he wants to break off the engagement, his genius master should also break off the engagement. I felt that Yan Xianglou had no regrets and broke off the engagement in front of everyone, which made her owner lose face. Later, Yan Xianglou saved her owner one after another, and it finally became more palatable to her. Later, Yan Xianglou completely detoxified its owner. In fact, it no longer had any resentment towards her, but it never admitted it. She is a genius. Now that I see that Yan Xianglou has reached a level of cultivation in 3 years that most monks cannot reach in a lifetime, I no longer want to admit it but have to face reality. Ji Zhong stretched out his finger and tapped Wuji's small body in a funny way. This incident tells us not to look down on anyone easily. It makes sense. Wuji agreed with this sentence. The master and the pet chatted, waiting for Yan Xianglou to advance. It was already evening when the light of advancement appeared again on Yan Xianglou's body. As expected by Ji Zhong, Yan Xianglou made a breakthrough in cultivation to the peak of the 9th level. After the promotion was completed, Yan Xianglou excitedly flew into the air and spun happily in the sky. Her beautiful face, slim figure, and fiery red dress made Ji Zhong unable to take his eyes away. Wuji also raised his head and looked at the beautiful woman in the sky. He had to admit in his heart that if there must be a woman to be his mistress, it must be Yan Xianglou. However, in order not to disturb the master's pursuit of his wife, it wisely returned to the spiritual pet space. Father, mother, Luo can go find you. Yan Xianglou shouted loudly to the sky. Ji Zhong's eyes dimmed after hearing her words. After being promoted successfully, the first thing she thought of was to meet her parents. Didn't she have no place in her heart at all? After venting her excitement, Yan Xianglou fell next to Ji Zhong and said with a smile like a flower, "Thank you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know how long it would take to reach the 9th level peak. You allowed me to go see my parents earlier. Thank you so much." If Ji Zhong hadn't taken her to the underground spiritual river where the 9 families lived, the amount of spiritual energy she needed to absorb for the Pangu technique would not have been able to be absorbed in a short time. Even if she trains all over the continent to find places with strong spiritual energy, plus the spiritual energy in Pangu space, it will take 1 to 2 years at the fastest to accumulate enough spiritual energy to advance. Therefore, Yan Xianglou sincerely thanked Ji Zhong for helping her. Although this was an easy thing for Ji Zhong, it did help her a lot. Ji Zhong's mood improved when he saw her cheerful smile, and he didn't care that her parents were the first in her heart. After all, she was not her, so why should she be the first in her heart? Didn't you already promise that my people will not be charged for medical treatment by you in the future? There is no need to thank me anymore. Although what he wanted to say in his heart was that this is what I did for you willingly and no need to thank him, his reason made him bury these words in his heart. He and she still have a long way to go, and he has plenty of patience to wait. Don't worry, I will keep my word. Even if I go to the higher continent, I will keep my word. Yan Xianglou was in a good mood and was naturally generous. After all, they are all going to the higher continent, and if they want to repay Ji Zhong, they can only do so in the higher continent. When are you going to leave Tianqian continent? Ji Zhong asked. Yan Xianglou's excitement calmed down. I'm going to Xuanhuan sect to see my master and 2 friends before leaving. There is nothing she misses in the Tianqian continent, and she is not prepared to care about the concubine family in the Tianshan Empire anymore. Her parents were safe, and she didn't want to be ruthless. With the temperament and talent of her family, it was difficult for anyone to reach the level of cultivation that left this continent. This was already the harshest punishment for them. Ji Zhong guessed that she would leave as soon as possible, and also knew who the 2 friends she wanted to see were. Thinking of the troubles in the Tianshan Empire, he rubbed his temples. Can you wait for me to leave together? Although he disliked the royal family of the Tianshan Empire, seeing that this was the kingdom that his father had worked so hard to conquer, he still couldn't bear to let the Tianshan Empire be abolished. He needed to make arrangements before leaving. Although he had already started making preparations, the final explanation also takes time. When can you leave? Although Yan Xianglou wanted to leave as soon as possible, Ji Zhong had already spoken, and she couldn't refuse by burning bridges. As long as it doesn't take too long, it doesn't hurt to wait for him. Besides, being able to make an appointment with someone on the way to ascension is unprecedented and unprecedented. 1 month. Ji Zhong calculated that 1 month was enough for him to settle down the affairs of the Tianshan Empire royal family. Okay, let's take today as the term and we'll meet at the chasm in a month's time. 1 month is still acceptable to Yan Xianglou. She can take advantage of this time to spend some time with Master Qin He, and she can also get together with her 2 friends Bai Tangyunyu and Jin Xinrong. After all, she only has these 2 friends here. Even if both of them have good talents, they will not go to the higher continent soon. They may meet again decades later. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 242. Chapter 242. Return to Xuanhuan sect. Okay, it's a deal. Ji Zhong didn't expect that she would agree so happily. Thinking of leaving here with her to go to the higher continent, Ji Zhong felt happier than ever before. After making an appointment to leave, Ji Zhong asked, before leaving, why don't you go back to the Tianshan Empire? Yan Xianglou shook her head. I'm not going back. There's nothing to miss there. I'm taking all the things from home. As for the house, just leave it there. If you can arrange it for those who need it. In the future, my parents and I will never come back. Ji Zhong also knows that, like him, she has nothing to miss here, and there is almost no possibility of coming back. After agreeing on a time to leave, the 2 of them did not delay. Ji Zhong went directly back to the Tianshan Empire to arrange things after leaving. The throne alone requires a lot of thought. Fortunately, he had made preparations long ago, otherwise, he would really not be able to get it done in a month. Yan Xiongluo used the teleportation array given to her by her sworn brother Ge Tianjun to go to Xuanhuan sect. Seeing the teleportation array, Xiongluo thought to herself that when she goes to the higher continent, she will not only see her parents, but also her sworn brother Ge Tianjun. Thinking about it this way, the higher continent is not so strange anymore. With my parents, adopted brother, and master here, why does it feel warmer than the Tianqian continent? At this time, she didn't know that she had met quite a few people she knew when she went to the higher continent. After Yan Xiongluo separated from Jizhong, she directly used the teleportation array to return to Xuanhuan section. When she landed in front of the mountain gate again, her state of mind was different again. It felt like her state of mind had changed greatly every time she came back. Seeing her in a red dress, the disciple of the Xuanhuan sect guarding the mountain gate quickly saluted, "I've seen Master Jun." Although Yan Xiongluo has left the Xuanhuan sect, she is still a member of the Xuanhuan section. What's more, she also has a master who has ascended and left, and there is also Master Qin He who particularly likes her. Although Yan Xiongluo has deliberately suppressed her own pressure, with her 9th level cultivation, no matter how suppressed she is, the gatekeeper disciples can still feel her power. Although I don't know her cultivation level, I am sure that her cultivation level has improved again. The attitude is not to be disrespectful. Yan Xiongluo nodded, rose into the air, and headed directly towards the mountain peak where Master Qin He was. The disciples who happened to see her passing by in the air were stunned, thinking they were being deceived. The only disciple in their Xuanhuan sect wearing a red dress was Yu Xiongluo, and he had become someone they admired. The disciples who had seen her shouted excitedly, "It's Master Jun, Master Jun is back." The new disciples, those who had never seen her before, looked excitedly at the fiery red figure flying in the sky. Unexpectedly, they would have the opportunity to meet the legendary Uncle Master Yu. Jin Xinrong and Baitang Yunyu didn't see her return, but they were very excited when they got the news of her return. Yan Xiongluo passed by the sky and glanced at Qiandu Peak. She thought that Qiandu Peak had become lonely after she and her master left, and thought that what she saw would be a desolate scene. But at a glance, Qiandu Peak was actually more popular than when she and master were still there. The main hall is still standing and has been renovated. Many buildings were built below where poisonous weeds were originally planted. It looks very spacious, with many disciples coming in and out. What is this used for? Just when Yan Xiongluo was wondering, she saw a stone tablet outside the main hall that was not there before, with 3 words "Inspirational Peak" engraved on it. The original words "Qiandu Peak" on the palace were still there, and Yan Xiongluo immediately understood that the sect regarded Qiandu Peak as a place to encourage disciples. There are so many disciples here, all of whom are good in terms of cultivation. It must be something the sect has done to make it a place for disciples to come and learn and communicate. This is not bad, it is better than leaving Qiandu Peak alone. Yu Xiongluo came to the place where Master Qin He lived. Master Qin He is at the 9th level of cultivation. Due to his limited talent, he has not been able to advance to the top. Although her cultivation level is now higher than that of Master Qin He, she still arrived before anyone else. "Master, I'm back." When Master Qin He heard her voice, he immediately came out of the house and saw her falling in the yard with a smile on her face. "Xiaoluo, you are better than your old master. Your father was a great genius back then, and you are even better than your father." No matter how genius her father was, he was promoted and left in his 30s. This girl is only 16 years old. Master Qin He could tell at a glance that Yan Xiongluo's cultivation level was higher than his, that is, he was at the peak cultivation level of the 9th level. I felt a little sad. Not long after the most beloved disciple left, the most beloved young disciple was also leaving. Yan Xiongluo was also very happy and showed a rare arrogance. "That's right. Come on, now that you're back, hurry up and cook a meal for your master. I'm afraid I won't be able to eat the delicacies made by Xiaoluo again." Although Master Qin he said it with a smile, Yan Xianglou could hear the loneliness in his words. He quickly said mischievously, "I'll make some more food for Master and put it in the space ring. Master can take it out and eat it whenever he wants. However, don't forget to think about me before eating." "Okay, as long as you are not afraid of sneezing all the time, Master Qin," he agreed. But I thought in my heart, everyone said that he favored the little girl. Who doesn't like such a sensible little girl, and who doesn't prefer it? Yan Xianglou made a large table of delicious food for Master Qin. He drank some wine with him, and chatted for a while. Master Qin he was very happy by her coaxing him. In order not to disturb too many people, Yan Xiang chose the evening time to see Baitang Yunyu and Jin Xinrong. But when she was passing by in the air, she was seen by Miao Yu, the master of Tianshui Peak. At this time, Miao Yu's mood was very complicated. She thought that 3 years ago, her nephew fell in love with Yan Xianglou, and she still disliked her. But in just 3 years, she was already beyond her nephew's reach. Seeing Yu Xianglou getting stronger and stronger, and then thinking about his nephew whose future was ruined and who was missing, Miao Yu sighed and suddenly realized that he should keep a low profile and be calm in the future. Nothing is useful without strength. Although she knew that her qualifications were not good compared to those of her senior brothers, that was relative. Compared with people outside, her talent was enviable. Otherwise, how could she become the master of a peak? Seeing Ruan Xianglou fall into the residence of the inner disciples, Miao Yu turned around and went back. Jin Xinrong knew about Yuan Xianglou's arrival. Ever since she heard the news about Yuan Xianglou's return, she had been looking at the sky, waiting for her to come. "Xianglou, I miss you so much." Jin Xinrong rushed over and hugged Xianglou tightly. Yan Xianglou was also moved by Jin Xinrong's enthusiasm, her eyes became moist, and she hugged her back, "I miss you too." Other disciples who had seen her and new disciples who had not seen her were hiding not far away and watching secretly, not daring to get close. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 243. Chapter 243 Becoming a Matchmaker. Yan Xianglou didn't like being watched like this, so she pulled Jin Xinrong and said, "Let's go to Yunyu's place." Jin Xinrong also knew that Yan Xianglou was not a vain person, and the adoring eyes of these people would only feel like a burden, not an honor. She has too many inner disciples here, especially since she has recruited more disciples this year than every time. Now their inner disciples are living in a tight place. There were 2 more beds installed in her room, and there were 2 more people. It was so crowded that there was no room to put her feet down. She now spends most of her time looking for a place to practice and doesn't come back to live very often. Baitang Yunyu is a direct disciple of the sect leader and has his own residence to facilitate their conversation. Okay, after Jin Xinrong responded, the 2 of them got up in the air and headed towards Xuanhuan Peak. In 3 years, although Jin Xinrong was not as fast or as terrifying as Yan Xianglou in promotion, she had already broken through to the king level and could fly in the air. Baitang Yunyu stood in the most conspicuous place with his hands behind his hands, looking at the 2 of them and smiling. Yan Xianglou and Jin Xinrong landed next to him. Yan Xianglou looked at Baitang Yunyu's cultivation and said with a smile, "We are about to break through the senior level." Baitang Yunyu sighed, "My cultivation level was much higher than yours 3 years ago, but now you are much higher than me." Yan Xianglou smiled and said, "Everyone has his or her own opportunities. I just have better luck." Baitang Yunyu shook his head and said while walking with the 2 of them to his residence, "Luck is also a part of strength. The most important thing is talent and hard work. You 2 have very good talents, practice hard, and we will see you in the higher continent in the future. Yan Xianglego used the topic to tell them that she was leaving. You are now at the peak of the 9th level of Zun level, the two asked in unison. Well, prepare to go to Tianxia Xuanhuan to break through Zongji, and then leave directly. Yan Xianglego nodded. Ah. Then how long will it take for us to see each other? Jin Xinrong said, suddenly frustrated. It's not that she can't go to the higher continent. Instead, she feels that she has to go to the higher continent sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. Not everyone can have this kind of self-confidence. You must know that there are only a few people in the entire continent who can leave. Sometimes no one leaves for hundreds of years. Bai Tangyunyu immediately comforted her, you still have me to accompany you. From now on, we will go to the higher continent to find Xianglego together. Yan Xianglego looked at the two of them with surprised eyes. What are you doing? Jin Xinrong's face suddenly turned red and she rolled her eyes at Bai Tangyunyu. Bai Tangyunyu explained, I can't see you all the time, so the two of us keep in touch and ask each other about you, and then we slowly develop a good impression. He didn't need to explain the rest in detail. Xianglego also understood that the two of them got in touch because of her, and they fell in love over time. Emotionally, I still have the potential to be a matchmaker. Jin Xinrong blushed even more after hearing her words, while Bai Tangyunyu felt better and said with a smile, I just don't know when we can go to the higher continent. Our wedding will be held in the Tianqian continent. Although both of them have good talents, they are incomparable to a monster-like genius like Yan Xianglego. With talents like them, if it weren't for good opportunities and coming to Xianyuan sect, they might not be able to go to the higher continent in this life. Even if you come to Xianyuan sect, you still need opportunities and hard work, which will take a lot of time. Otherwise, there are many geniuses in Xianyuan sect. How many people can leave? At least among the master's generation, only Deng Chang's, the master of Yan Xianglego, left. They have reached the age where they can get married, so they don't want to waste time together and plan to go back and tell their elders in the family to get married. Yan Xianglego felt a little regretful, I will be leaving in a month. When will you get married? Bai Tangyunyu and Jin Xinrong looked at each other and said, it will be 3 months at the earliest. This is still a situation where everything is going well. If his father doesn't agree, there may still be trouble. However, given the extent of his father's partiality, knowing that the woman he wants to marry comes from a small family, I'm afraid he will be happy to fulfill his wish. He has already contacted his eldest brother and asked him to come to Xianyuan section. He is going to discuss it with his brother first. With his eldest brother's understanding of his father, his marriage will go smoothly. It seems that I can't attend your wedding, but I still need to prepare the wedding gifts. Although Yan Xianglego regretted not being able to attend the wedding of her two friends, she still needed to prepare the wedding gifts. As they spoke, the three of them had already arrived near the residence of the sect leader of the Xianyuan section. Ruan Xianglego said, I'll go see the sect leader, and then I'll find you. It would be disrespectful not to visit the sect master. When she returned to Xianyuan section, she could not embarrass her master. Bai Tangyunyu and Jin Xinrong naturally understood the rules, so they went to Bai Tangyunyu's residence first. While Yan Xianglego was talking to the head of the Xianyuan sect, by chance, Bai Tangyunfen, who had received a letter from his younger brother, came. When you come to Xianyuan sect, you must first pay homage to the master of Xianyuan sect. Bai Tangyunfen has not seen Yu Xianglego since he came out of Lingquan's secret realm. He was surprised to see her suddenly and felt a little disappointed. He is already at the 5th level of Zun level cultivation, but he can't feel the cultivation level of Yan Xianglego. This means that Yan Xianglego's cultivation level is much higher than him. If he were 1 or 2 levels higher, he would be able to sense it. The girl you like is stronger than you, how can you not feel disappointed? After meeting with the sect leader, the two of them walked to Bai Tangyunyu's residence together. Girl, did you encounter another opportunity after coming out of the secret realm? Bai Tangyunfen said in a helpless tone. Yan Xianglou smiled and said, I have indeed encountered an opportunity, and it is a big opportunity. That was the foundation of the cultivation of the 9 families. It was almost absorbed by her. It was indeed a great opportunity. It can only be attributed to great opportunity, otherwise how can we explain that she has advanced so quickly in a short period of time and cannot reveal anything about the 9 families? And this reason is very useful. No sensible person will continue to ask. After all, opportunity is a secret to everyone. Bai Tangyunfen is naturally a measured person. Although you can't ask her what great opportunities she has encountered, you can still ask about her level of cultivation. Is Miss Yu now at level 8 or level 9? Bai Tangyunfen asked. He was certain that Yun Xiangluo's siege cultivation level was definitely not the 6th or 7th level, because if it were 1 or 2 levels higher, he would definitely be able to sense it. The 9th level peak of respect Yan Xiangluo didn't hide it. After all, Bai Tangyunfen and Bai Tangyunyu were brothers. If she didn't tell Bai Tangyunfen, she would know it from Bai Tangyunyu. Besides, her current level of cultivation is already one of the strongest in the mainland. She is no longer the 5-spirited waste that anyone could bully 3 years ago. There is no need to hide her cultivation level. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 244. Chapter 244 Self-Righteous. After hearing what Yan Xiangluo said, Bai Tangyunfen stiffened. He never expected that Yan Xiangluo would break through to the highest level of cultivation in the mainland in such a short period of time. He suddenly realized a problem. Since her cultivation level has reached the peak of the 9th level, she is not far away from breaking through to the sect level, which also indicates that she will leave here. And he was only at the 5th level. He didn't know how long it would take to leave. It would take 2 or 3 years for everything to go smoothly. The sudden distance between the two made Bai Tangyunfen, who had been called a genius since childhood, very uncomfortable. Blow. Congratulations, Miss Yu, you should be leaving soon, right? Bai Tangyunfen hid his emotions and asked her if she had found an opportunity to break through the sect. There are also some strong people who have clearly reached the peak of the 9th level of the clan, but they have never been able to break through the clan level in their entire lives and cannot leave. But for someone as smart as Yan Xiangluo, Bai Tangyunfen never thought that she would not understand the opportunity to break through the clan level, just like he never doubted that he could not leave here. Well, come back to see Master Yunyu and Xinrong, and leave in a month. Yan Xiangluo's tone was casual, as if leaving Tianqian continent was a very common thing. Bai Tangyunfen stiffened again. He was about to leave so soon. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't leave with her. Miss Yu, you let me know what a monster-like talent looks like, Bai Tangyunfen said with emotion. He was telling the truth when he said this. At the same time, he knew in his heart that there was no possibility between him and Yan Xiangluo. The love he felt before he could express it out loud could only be buried in his heart forever. It will take at least 5 to 6 years for him to go to the higher continent. And what height will Yuan Xiangluo stand at after 5 or 6 years of going to the higher continent 5 or 6 years before him? She was able to advance at such a speed even though the cultivation conditions in the Tianqian continent were so poor. But when she went to a higher continent with richer cultivation resources, her advancement speed could only be faster. Because of this understanding, Bai Tangyunfen felt even more uncomfortable. What could be more cruel than being unable to express love? At this time, he regretted his previous blindness. Now that he understood his own heart, why did he treat her with a superior attitude and unstable mind? Why didn't he expect that she would be so dazzling that he could notice it and others would notice it, let alone others? I thought that one day she would become something beyond my reach. Thinking about how she felt honored that she liked her before, now that I think about my previous thoughts, I feel how self-righteous I am. If you care about discovering your feelings, confess to her, and treat her well, Will the relationship between the two be different? Bai Tang Yunfen has never regretted so much. Yunyu is getting married. Are you not going to attend their wedding? Bai Tang Yunfen tried to save her for some time. As long as she went to her brother's wedding, he could still see her. After all, Jin Xinrong is also her friend. I made an appointment with someone to leave together. The time cannot be changed. Although I cannot attend the wedding, I still have to prepare gifts. After all, they are my friends here, Yuan Xiangloo said. She felt a little sad in her heart, wondering if she was too emotionally poor. She actually only had two friends, a boy and a girl, and they eventually got married. Such a weird thing would happen to her. But this way she can feel more relieved when she leaves, and the Jin Xinrong family seems to be worried too. I remember that in her first year at the Xianyun sect, Jin Xinrong went home once. She was not in a good mood when she came back. It seemed that something had happened to her brother. She didn't say much and Xiangloo didn't ask too much. After all, it was her family's business. She still has some sense of propriety. The grandmother who loved her in another life believed in Buddhism and often said that you should not interfere with the cause and effect of others. Unless you have the absolute power to reverse the situation, otherwise you will create karma for yourself. Although she is not old, she has a deep understanding of this sentence. People who interfere in other people's affairs at will are indeed rarely good. The two appeared together at Bai Tang Yunyu's residence, which surprised Bai Tang Yunyu and Jin Xinrong. What a coincidence! Brother, here you are. This is Xinrong. Xinrong, this is my eldest brother. Bai Tang Yunyu quickly introduced the two of them to each other. Yan Xiangloo and his brother have known each other for a long time, so he didn't need to introduce them. Didn't you notice that they both came together? Bai Tang Yunfen met Jin Xinrong for the first time. He heard from his younger brother that she was a friend of Yan Xiangloo. Before he came, he had already found out everything about Jin Xinrong's life experience and family. There are some dirty things in every family, but Jin Xinrong's parents and brothers are of good character. Otherwise, it would be impossible to be recognized as a friend by Yan Xiangloo. Although Bai Tang Yunfen didn't have much contact with Yan Xiangloo, he grew up in intrigues and deceptions. He could see all the old courtiers clearly, let alone a little girl like Ruan Xiangloo. In his opinion, in the unpredictable Tianqian continent, Ruan Xiangloo is a simple and determined person. She clearly knows what she wants and what to do, and she knows even better when to hold back. She treats friends and even ordinary people with a normal heart. They will not look down upon you because of your status and strength, nor will they look down on you because you are an ordinary person who cannot practice cultivation. Bai Tang Yunfen found that he had only met Yan Xiangloo a few times, but every time he got to know her better, or like her more. Due to the arrival of Bai Tang Yunfen, Yan Xiangloo did not chat with Bai Tang Yunyu and Jin Xinrong for a long time. She just briefly talked about her plans and departure time, then said goodbye and left. Bai Tang Yunfen came here because of the marriage between Bai Tang Yunyu and Jin Xinrong. There were some things that he should not hear as a friend, so she wisely left space for the three of them. Jin Xinrong asked her to meet again tomorrow, and Yan Xiangloo agreed. Yan Xiangloo went directly back to Master Qin He to ask for some advice on alchemy. Master Qin He patiently told her everything he knew. His life was short of many years, and what he was most proud of in his life was his alchemy skills. Although he had several apprentices, the one with the best talent was Yao disciple, and he taught them all his money. Now the young disciple's son's alchemy talent is even higher than that of his own disciple, and he is more willing to pass on his alchemy skills. Jin Xinrong didn't stay long after Yan Xiangloo left. The two brothers must have had private conversations. Even if she wanted to become Bai Tang Yunyu's wife, she wouldn't be able to listen to everything. After Jin Xinrong left, Bai Tang Yunfen was more satisfied with her. She was well behaved, sensible, measured, had good eyesight, and had good talents. She was very suitable for his younger brother. The two brothers discussed some matters about marriage. Bai Tangyunfen reassured him that he would handle all the wedding matters. After discussing the marriage, Bai Tangyunfen asked, Yuan Xianglou said that she had made an appointment to leave together. Do you know who left with him? End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 245. Chapter 245 I Won't Let You Wait. Bai Tangyunyu shook his head, she didn't say anything and we didn't ask any questions. Bai Tangyunfen frowned. Yan Xiangluo's master had already left. Who else in Tianqian continent had reached the level of cultivation that he had left? Who is the most important person who can make Yan Xiangluo agree to leave with him? Bai Tangyunfen only stayed in Xianyuan sect for one night and then went back. Before going back, he wanted to see Yan Xiangluo again, but Yan Xiangluo was there with Master Qinhe. Master Qinhe never saw visitors from outside, not even the disciples of his sect could see him. Only a few of his direct disciples could see people. Yuan Xiangluo could go to him at any time since he entered the sect, which was considered a special case. Bai Tangyunfen could only leave with regret. He knew in his heart that yesterday's meeting might be their last meeting in Tianqian continent. In the next month, besides accompanying Master Qinhe and discussing alchemy with him, Yan Xiangluo spent time with Jin Xinrong and Bai Tangyunyu. During this period, I also prepared gifts for them and gave them to them the day before leaving. I know you don't lack anything. What you need most is the spiritual stones for promotion. I have left all my spiritual stones for you, hoping to help you go to the high and low continent as soon as possible, Yan Xiangluo said a little sadly. Road. Although they have known each other for 3 years, they have not spent much time together. The fate of people is very wonderful. They just like each other very much. Being friends is a great blessing in life. In the past, if we didn't meet, at least we knew that we could meet if we wanted to. Now that we are really separated, we don't know when we will meet again, how can we not feel sad? Bai Tangyunyu and Jin Xinrong still have a long way to go. If something happens during this period, they may not have a chance to go to the higher continent. So if they say goodbye today, it will be forever. Not only Yan Xiangluo knows this, but Bai Tangyunyu and Jin Xinrong also know it. Otherwise, why would so many talented people never have the chance to leave here in their entire lives? Jin Xinrong couldn't control her emotions and cried. Bai Tangyunyu was also a little excited. Ruan Xiangluo had helped him a lot, she had saved him and even helped him save his brother. Now he had left so many spiritual stones for cultivation to the couple. Ruan Xiangluo was so kind to them. It seems there is nothing to repay. Yan Xiangluo didn't like such a sad scene of parting. She waved her hands and said calmly, I will leave tomorrow morning. Don't come to see me off. I don't like the sadness of parting. If you miss me, just practice hard. Let's get married soon, see you on the mainland. Jin Xinrong cried even harder. Bai Tangyunyu hugged her and said to Yuan Xiangluo, we will definitely go to the higher continent to find you. Yu Xiangluo didn't say anything, and went back to cook dinner for Master Qinhe, which was also their farewell feast. This month she cooked a lot of dishes that Master Qinhe liked to eat, put them in a food box in a space ring, and left them with Master Qinhe after dinner. Similarly, tell Master Qinhe that she will leave quietly tomorrow morning, don't send her off. Master Qinhe smiled and nodded, okay, Master doesn't like the atmosphere of parting either. Master wishes Xiao Luo every success and that the road to becoming a strong person will go higher and higher. Okay, Yan Xiangluo responded and went back to her room. I didn't see Master Qinhe's eyes moisten as soon as she turned around. He was not so sad when Yao Tu left. Xiao Luo brought him happiness that he had never thought of in his life. He had never been married or had any relatives in his life. Xiao Luo made him experience the deep love between ancestors and grandchildren for 3 years. Early the next morning, Yan Xiangluo packed up and took a look at Master Qinhe's room. She knew that Master Qianhe was standing in the door. She pursed her lower lip, knelt down in front of Master Qianhe's door. After finishing his head, he stood up and flew into the air, flying towards the gate of Xuanhuan sect. Master Qianhe finally endured it and did not go out. Let's go, the child still has a long way to go, he can only send blessings. Yan Xiangluo looked at everything in the Xuanhuan sect below. This place gave her a place to stay when she was most helpless, gave her a master who loved her, gave her 2 friends, and gave her precious memories. I really have to say goodbye forever. Because it was very early, the sect was still very quiet, and no disciples came out, making the 2 people standing in the square very conspicuous. Yan Xiangluo's eyes suddenly turned red. Didn't she say she wouldn't let them come to deliver her? Why did she come anyway? It made her want to cry. Yan Xiangluo did not stop and waved to Baitang Yunyu and Jin Xinrong. Baitang Yunyu and Jin Xinrong also waved desperately to her. Flying through the air until she could no longer be seen, Jin Xinrong cried loudly in Yunyu's arms in Baitang. Baitang Yunyu patted her back comfortingly, let's practice hard and try to see her as soon as possible. Yang Xiang landed in front of the mountain gate. She turned around and looked solemnly at the mountain gate of Xuanhuan section with sadness. She took out the formation disc and teleported directly to Tianxia. I thought she was the one who arrived early, but as soon as she appeared in front of the chasm, I saw Xuanhuan standing in front of the chasm with his hands behind his back. Beside him stood Changfeng, Jin Yutang, and Mu Zixian, as well as a group of hidden guards standing neatly not far away. This is also the first time that Yan Xiangluo has seen all Xuanhuan's hidden guards. There are only 30 of them, but all of them have good cultivation talents. Yan Xiangluo took a look at their cultivation levels. They were all at the 7th or 8th level. They had not yet reached the cultivation level to leave. They should have come to see Xuanhuan off. Here we come. Xuanhuan turned back to look at her. He felt it as soon as she appeared and felt relaxed. He didn't know what he was worried about. He knew that Yan Xiangluo wanted to leave more urgently than him and would never break the promise, but he was still worried for no reason. Now that I see people, my wandering heart has settled down. Well, I thought I would arrive first, but I didn't expect you to arrive earlier than me. Maybe she was about to leave, but Yan Xiangluo's mood was a little complicated. Let's say she doesn't want to give up. There's no point in saying she doesn't want to let go. Let's say she doesn't care at all. There are still so many people who worry about her. Therefore it can only be described as complex. I didn't want you to wait, so I came first. Xuanhuan's tone was gentler than Changfeng and the others had ever heard before. Although they knew that Xuanhuan and Yan Xiangluo lived in harmony with each other in the 9 family residences, Yan Xiangluo's attitude towards Xuanhuan had not changed much, but their master's attitude towards Yan Xiangluo had changed too much. This is the first time they have seen such a gentle master. Are they here to see you off? Yan Xiangluo looked at Changfeng and the others and asked. Well, after sending me away, they will go to practice and find us as soon as possible. Xuanhuan also glanced at Changfeng and the others. They are all his people, they have sworn to be loyal to him forever, and they are trustworthy partners. Although they cannot leave with him, he has made arrangements. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 246. Chapter 246 To Give Up. Xuanhuan has already made an experience plan for Changfeng, the 3 of them and the hidden guards. It is so detailed that it will be for each of them. They will be able to find him in up to half a year. Yan Xiangluo was not surprised by Xuanhuan's arrangement. Not to mention that her own people used it conveniently, he was different from her. After going to the higher continent, she at least still has her parents to trust and rely on, as well as her master and sworn brother. Xuanhuan had few people he could trust when he arrived in the higher continent, so he would naturally arrange for Changfeng and the others to go there early. They all have the blood of 9 families, which has been passed down from generation to generation. They don't know how many bloodlines they have. But one thing is certain, that is, their cultivation talents are better than those born and raised in Tianqian continent, especially when they were originally Su. The one chosen by the best of the family originally wanted to control Xuanhuan, but he didn't expect that he would take him back as one of his own. Among them, Yunfen was born and raised in the Su family, and his surname is Su. Xian and Jin Yutang, like Xuanhuan and Yuan Xiangluo, both have fathers from mainland China, so their surname is not Su. Most of the hidden guards are not named Su. Otherwise it would not be so easy to recover. Even so, isn't there still someone like Uge? Uge's surname is not Su, but he still doesn't share the same heart with Xuanhuan. Thinking about it this way, there are actually many women from various families who marry outside. However, there are very few people who have reached the level of Xuanhuan. This also shows that talent is only one aspect. If you want to become a strong person, hard work is more important. Yan Xiangluo didn't know how many trump cards Xuanhuan had, but she always felt that he didn't do anything in a hurry, and that he had a feeling that everything was under his control. Even when he appeared in front of her in the most embarrassing state, she never saw him panic or decadent. Therefore, since he said, "Let them find him," that means he has absolute confidence that Changfeng and they can achieve the strength to leave here. Yu sighed in her heart. If the 9 families had thought about it earlier and turned to nurturing the most talented children in the family, they would definitely have left here earlier, and they would have been trapped here for hundreds or thousands of years. "Do you need to say goodbye for a while?" Yan Xiangluo asked. Xuanhuan shook his head. "No, they will protect us. When we break through the clan level and leave, they will go and practice." Yan Xiangluo nodded, and borrowed Xuanhuan's favor again. Although he has broken through the clan level, he is still worried about being disturbed. With them protecting the law, there is no need to worry. Even if she doesn't leave together with him, she still has the Pangu space to break through and advance without worrying about safety. However, the fact is that she has borrowed his light again. "Let's get started." Xuanhuan sat cross-legged first. Since everyone had arrived, he didn't want to wait any longer. He had been waiting for this day for several years. Yang Xiang sat down 3 meters away from him. After the two looked at each other, they started to break through the clan level together. Changfeng and Xian stood on either side of Xuanhuan and Yan Xiangluo respectively. Jin Yutang stood guard in the middle. With a wave of his hand, the hidden guards spread out instantly, forming an arc to protect the two. At this time, a figure in the woods in the distance was hiding behind the trees and watching them. Baitang Yunfen came yesterday. He really couldn't stand this kind of psychological torture. He must know who left with Yu Xiangluo. Actually, he had guessed it a long time ago, but he just didn't want to admit it in his heart. The Tianshan Empire is one of the strongest countries in the entire Tianqian continent, especially in the hands of Xuanhuan in recent years. It has become much stronger. Just when he knew that Yan Xiangluo was leaving, the Tianshan Empire also experienced great changes. First, the emperor who had been in a coma for many years died due to poisoning. Everyone thought that Xuanhuan would succeed him, but the new emperor was someone no one expected. At first, everyone thought that Xuanhuan didn't want to be the emperor, so the person who succeeded him would be either the second prince or the third prince. Because Xuanhuan was not happy with the queen, they all preferred the third prince to succeed, but the new emperor happened to be someone they had forgotten. The new emperor is an insignificant prince born to a palace maid. He is 1 year younger than San Huanzi, but he has no status. He just reached the crown this year. Not only is he talented in cultivation, but he is also the best among the princes. At least the third prince with the most talent among the princes cannot compare. Bai Tangyunfen secretly checked and found out that this prince was secretly trained by Jizhong. Anyone who could be noticed by Jizhong would naturally not be an ordinary person. In this month, the Tianshan Empire has undergone earth-shaking changes. The day when the new emperor ascended the throne was also the wedding day. The queen was the legitimate daughter of the current general, and her cultivation level was not much lower than that of the emperor. The emperor and the empress were both very capable. In less than half a month, the new emperor took control of the former dynasty and the empress took control of the harem. The late emperor's concubines and concubines who had children were all released from the palace and lived with their children. Those who have no children are all arranged in Anyang Palace. Anyang Palace is located on the mountain outside the city. The surrounding environment is excellent and the palace is so luxuriously decorated that no one can fault it. The late empress, the mother of the second prince, was no exception. She also went to live in the residence of the second prince who had been crowned king. At the beginning, she was still clamoring that she was the empress and she would be the empress dowager when any prince ascended the throne. When the new emperor came up with a thick pile of accusations against her, she could only voluntarily give up the title of empress dowager and move to the second prince's residence. Because she knew very well that any one of these crimes could not only cost her her life, but could even lead to the annihilation of her mother clan. Although the new emperor did all this, the people in power in each empire knew that Jizhong stood behind the new emperor. They once again lamented Jizhong's unfathomable methods and strength. When Bai Tangyunfen got the news, the first thing that came to his mind was that Jizhou had to leave here. Otherwise, he would not let go of the imperial power of Tianshan Empire, and the person who made an appointment with Yanxiangluo to leave together should be Jizhong. He feels bad in his heart. He has been compared with Jizhong since he was a child. Although he is already excellent, Jizhong will always be better than him. As a man, he is very aware of Yanxiangluo's attraction to strong men. With Jizhong's strength and means, Yanxiangluo will never escape his grasp. There is really no possibility that he and Yanxiangluo are together. Even though he was sure in his heart, he still couldn't help but come over and see with his own eyes, so that he could give up his mind. He arrived last night and waited until now. Jizhong arrived early in the morning. In fact, he had already confirmed it, but he didn't know why he didn't leave. Now that I have witnessed the arrival of Yanxiangluo and personally confirmed that Yanxiangluo indeed left with Jizhong, my heart still hurts. He knew that Jizhong's cultivation would definitely detect his existence, but he ignored him and told himself clearly that he did not have the capital to fight with him. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 247. Chapter 247 The Vast Snowfield. At this moment, Bai Tangyunfen clenched his fists and focused his eyes on Yanxiangluo. He wanted to remember this moment. Since he can't get her, he will go to higher places desperately. Even if he goes to the higher continent later than them, he will not admit defeat and will never admit that he is not as good as Jizhong. Yanxiangluo and Jizhong broke through very quickly. It can be said that Jizhong was waiting for Yanxiangluo to break through, because when Yanxiangluo broke through, Jizhong also started to break through. The two of them succeeded in breaking through the clan level almost in tandem. The moment Yanxiangluo opened her eyes, Changfeng and the others clearly felt the change in her aura. Those incomparably beautiful pair of apricot eyes seemed to be filled with bright stars. At this time, Yanxiangluo was so beautiful that she seemed to be out of this world. The 9-day fairy with fireworks. They didn't dare to take another look at her, as if they would be blaspheming her if they looked at her again. Fortunately, Jizhong also succeeded in breaking through. Changfeng, Jin Yutang, Musixian, and all the hidden guards knelt down on one knee and congratulated in unison, "Congratulations, Master, Miss Yu, for successfully breaking through to the clan level." Yanxiangluo was speechless, feeling that she was just borrowing Jizhong's light, and it was Jizhong who they sincerely congratulated. How did she know that Chang Feng and the others were sincere in their congratulations to both Jizhong and Yan Xiangluo? Not only did they know that Yan Xiangluo would be their mistress in the future, but also because of their psychological admiration for Yan Xiangluo. That is the respect that all monks have for the strong. Yan Xiangluo never realized that she had already been a strong person in Tianqian continent. In her opinion, a person who can reach the 9th level of genius is a real strong person. Jizhong raised his hand to ask them to get up. We are leaving now. Come as soon as possible. Yes, everyone responded in unison. Jizhong looked at Yan Xiangluo, and his voice became much gentler. Let's go. Yan Xiangluo nodded. The pressure from heaven was getting heavier and heavier. They couldn't bear it if they didn't leave. She looked at the misty opposite side with her bright almond eyes. The last time she came here was to see her master off. She didn't expect that she could leave so quickly. She was still very excited. Jizhong's slender hand held hers. Before Yan Xiangluo could say anything, he explained, it's foggy across the street. I don't know what will happen. It's better for us not to separate when we're new here. Yan Xiangluo was right. The two of them could take care of each other together, which was better than being alone. Judging from the fact that all 9 families were demoted to such a situation and still looked aloof, she had no expectations of how gentle the higher-level mainlanders would be towards them. Therefore, he did not break away from Jizhong's hand, but shook his hand again. Jizhong's expression did not change, but his heart blossomed with joy. This was the first time Yan Xiangluo responded to him. Although it was different from the response he expected, it was still a big improvement. At least she trusted him. Baitang Yunfen, who had been standing in the woods watching them, saw their hands holding each other, and thought they had expressed their feelings to each other. Yan Xiangluo had accepted Jizhong, and this moment was considered the real giving up. Yan Xiangluo had no idea that Jizhong started to pinch her peach blossoms at this moment, and he pinched her right at the right time. It seemed that he did nothing, but his method was extremely cruel. He attacked the human heart and broke it in an instant. It's not that Ruan Xiangluo couldn't notice the presence of Yunfen in Baitang, she just didn't pay attention to it. In fact, there were many people hiding not far away, all of them were strong men. She didn't have the thought to care about who they were, so she didn't use her spiritual consciousness. When I went to check, I naturally didn't know that Baitang Yunfen was coming. At this time, Chang Feng and the others lined up and sent them off respectfully with their eyes. The two held hands and rose into the air, flying towards the opposite side. The suppression of the laws of heaven on their bodies became weaker and weaker. And they left behind 2 figures, one red and one white, for the people behind them, and also left behind their legend in Tianqian continent. Many people heard that Jizhong's divorce from Yan Xiangluo was a fake and was done to protect the source of her growth. They didn't believe it at first, but now they have seen it with their own eyes and they left hand in hand, they all believe it. Therefore, after they left, various rumors about them spread across the Tianqian continent, and without exception, they were all beautified into a couple of gods who were deeply in love and never left each other. Even Jinzin and Baitang Yunyu were surprised. They had never heard Yan Xiangluo say this before. Many people came to them for confirmation. They could only deal with it by not discussing the private affairs of powerful people. All this is a story later. After Yan Xiangluo and Jizhong disappeared into the thick fog on the opposite side, Chang Feng and the others left immediately. Although Jizhong gave them half a year, after witnessing their departure, Chang Feng they also wanted to chase him as soon as possible. What surprised Yan Xiangluo and Jizhong was that when they passed through the thick fog, they found a sheet of white snow on the opposite side. They could not see the end at a glance. There was also thick snow under their feet. A chill that penetrated into the bone marrow hit them. Instinctively mobilize spiritual energy to keep out the cold. Xianxia continent is almost a place where the 4 seasons are not much different. It should be said that there is one missing winter. But behind the thick fog is actually a vast snow field. Looking at the two people wearing midsummer clothes, a feeling that is seriously inconsistent with the scenery arises spontaneously. The two looked at each other and smiled. Xuanhuan let go of Yan Xiangluo's hand and said, "I made what I thought was a very comprehensive preparation, but I really didn't expect to face such a situation." Yan Xiangluo teased, "There are also things you can't think of. It's really rare." Xuanhuan wants to say that there is nothing he can't think of. He didn't think of it when she took the initiative to break off the engagement, but he couldn't talk about it. Although the climate is not very good, the spiritual energy is indeed much richer than that of Tianqian continent. Xuanhuan changed the subject. Both of them are at the sect level. Although they can use spiritual energy to resist the cold, the amount of spiritual energy consumed is not normal. After all, they cannot stop for a moment. Yan Xiangluo agreed, "That's true, but where are we going now?" Xuanhuan's spiritual consciousness has already checked it out, but it didn't reach the end. "How big is the snow field? Get some clothes on first. You can't keep using your spiritual energy to resist the cold," Xuanhuan said. "I don't have thick clothes," Yan Xiangluo said helplessly. "Me neither," Xuanhuan sighed. He was actually stumped sometimes. Although Yan Xiangluo has Pangu space, Xuanhuan cannot enter it. Besides, she cannot always stay in the space. The snow field does not exist for no reason. The person who ascends has the space to carry it with him. Therefore, the existence of the snow field definitely has a purpose. "Let's take a walk first. We can't just stand here and do nothing," Xuanhuan said. Yan Xiangluo nodded, and just as the two were about to move forward, a man wearing a fur made of snow-white animal skin appeared in front of them. End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 248. Chapter 248, Bad Intentions. The two of them looked at the incoming person, and both cheered up and became alert. "Are you coming from a lower continent?" the man looked at them and asked. "They are all well dressed and look like they belong to a wealthy family. They seem to be able to get a lot of benefits." Yan Xiangluo and Xuanhuan looked at each other, and Xuanhuan said, "We have just ascended from a lower continent." "Are you?" The man sneered after hearing Xuanhuan's words. "Ascension? What are you dreaming about, that going from a lower continent to a higher continent is considered ascension? You really have never seen the world." The two people who were ridiculed for not having seen the world were stunned. Listening to this person's words, they came from a low-level continent to a high-level continent, which is not considered an ascension at all. Before the two of them could say anything, the man said again, "Do you still want to say that when you awakened your spiritual roots, you condensed the nascent soul?" Although Yan Xiangluo and Xuanhuan did not answer his words, they thought in their hearts, "Isn't it like this?" Both of them are extremely smart people. Suddenly something occurred to them and they both quickly checked the nascent soul in their dantian. Yan Xiangluo found that her nascent soul was wrapped in a golden eggshell, as if she had not yet been born. "How is this going?" Yan Xiangluo looked at Xuanhuan. Apparently Xuanhuan was also surprised. Xuanhuan gave him a comforting look, and then said to the man opposite, "We don't understand anything when we first come here, so we hope our seniors can teach us." Yan Xiangluo was surprised at Xuanhuan's ability to bend and stretch. The man opposite expressed satisfaction with his humility. He stretched out his hand and hooked his fingers. The meaning was obvious. This was an obvious benefit. Neither of them looked very good. Since the man was here, that was what he was doing. He was to guide newcomers to understand this place and what to do next, but he took advantage of his position to gain benefits. But they also know that this kind of thing can happen anywhere. Problems that can be solved with money are not problems. As long as he can provide valuable information, it is okay to give him some benefits. Xuanhuan gave her a wink, telling her to tell him something. He pretended to be rummaging through the storage ring, and he was indeed looking for something suitable for him. When Xianxia received Xuanhuan's signal, a dark light flashed in her eyes. She almost forgot that she had another skill that she hadn't used for a long time. If she hadn't suddenly wanted to know what the man opposite was thinking, she would not have thought about it. Get up. This ability is mind reading. She hasn't used it for a long time. She doesn't want to rely on this ability to survive, but sometimes this ability can still be used. She doesn't care about giving the other party some good things, but she wants to know if the other party will plot against them. They don't understand anything when they first come here, and they don't know if they are being plotted against. Although the opponent's strength is higher than hers, as long as it is not much higher, she can hear what he is thinking with her powerful spiritual power. While Xuanhuan was rummaging for things, Xianxia used her mind-reading skills, and sure enough, she heard the man's voice. At first glance, these two people are rich masters. They first plunder their good things and then send them to their masters. The appearance of these two people is so outstanding that even the most beautiful man in the mainland cannot compare with them. The master will definitely reward himself well this time. Xianxia was shocked. This person actually had evil intentions and wanted to steal their treasures and then sell them. How dare he be so bold? Isn't he the one responsible for guiding the newcomers here? How can he be so blatantly scheming and no one cares? Or is it just the law of the jungle that prevails here? Xianxia was a little worried about her parents and master who had come here a long time ago. Just when she had this doubt in her mind, the man opposite him thought to himself again, this job is really painful. The lower class mainlanders are weak. There are so few people who can reach the clan level. I am suffering here in the cold weather, meeting these two people is not in vain. Xianxia took the opportunity to ask, Senior, are there many people coming from the lower continent? How many have you received? The man glanced at him and cursed in his heart, this little girl is young and beautiful. When she comes to the master's place, she might be left to enjoy it for herself. A person who becomes a master can't afford to offend him, so he should leave some room for now. He said with a smile, not many people came. During my time on duty, I only received 2 of you. But I said in my heart, I am lucky. Many people were on duty here and could not pick up anyone. Xianxia listened to his inner thoughts and secretly prayed that it was a good thing he wasn't here all the time. She hoped that her parents and master would not encounter someone like him. However, neither my parents nor my master are easy to deceive. Now Xianxia is thinking about how to get the truth out of him. Senior, what's the ascension you mentioned before? Xianxia asked in a tone that said I was very curious. Seeing that Xuanhuan was still searching, the man said, the lower continent and the higher continent are actually one, but they are separated by the way of heaven. A higher continent has many lower continents. Therefore, you start from the lower continent coming to a higher continent is not considered ascension at all, but longevity is much more real. This has something to do with your cultivation and has nothing to do with the mainland. So that's it? Xianxia looked at the vast snowfield and asked, do we need to get out of the snowfield? It feels so big. How can we get out? The man rolled his eyes and said, only when you get out of here can you truly reach the higher continent. I am here to tell you the way out. There is only one way. But he said in his heart, as long as you follow the path I told you, you will definitely reach my master. I will not tell you that this is your first opportunity to come to the higher continent. If you miss it, you will never get it again. Xianxia felt that the skill of hers was really useful. Knowing this, it didn't matter whether others knew it or not. As long as they walked out of the snowfield, they would naturally have a way to know about the higher continent. She immediately sent a message to Jizhong, "Don't give him anything, he wants to plot against us." Jizhong knew what Yan Xiangluo had discovered when she started talking. His sense of men was not good at first, and his intuition was always very accurate. Now that Yan Xiangluo said the same thing, he naturally wanted to side with Yan Xiangluo. Originally, I thought it was okay to give him something, but now I know that he wants to plot against them and take advantage of them. How can there be such a good thing? He stopped rummaging in pain and said, "Luo our spiritual stones and treasures with spiritual energy have all been upgraded and used. I really can't find anything to use. They are all our daily necessities. What should I do?" End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 249. Chapter 249, Tacit Cooperation. Yan Xiangluo almost got goosebumps when he screamed. Thinking that he was cooperating with her acting, she immediately looked annoyed and said, "What should we do? How can Senior show us the way without good things?" The man opposite was stunned when he saw the two people's flawless tacit performance. He had made a mistake. The two of them were so well dressed that they looked like children from a wealthy family, but they were so poor that they didn't even have any smart treasures. He really couldn't believe it. "Spars are also fine." The man retreated and asked for the next best thing. After finally meeting two people, he couldn't get anything even if he didn't want to. Yan Xiangluo immediately looked at Jizhong with expectant eyes. "There are no more crystal stones," Jizhong said embarrassedly. Before the man could get angry, Yan Xiangluo jumped up and said, "Did you leave all the things to your family? Those things belong to both of us. How can you be so selfish?" Jizhong suddenly felt guilty and said, "I didn't give it to them, I really used it all." But everyone could tell from his expression that he was lying. Yan Xiangluo immediately burst into tears, scolded Jizhong, and finally said angrily, "Huh, don't blame me for being ruthless. Let's go our separate ways." As soon as he finished speaking, he walked forward. He was so angry that he didn't look in the direction at all. Jizhong hurriedly caught up, "Luo we haven't asked Senior how to go. What should we do if we go in the wrong direction? You don't have anything and you expect someone to tell you the right direction." "I'm not that shameless." Yan Xiangluo kept walking and continued walking forward. Jizhong was chasing and coaxing people behind. The man was stunned. What's going on? What happened? How did things become like this? Have you become a decoration? They don't want to break the pot and walk around, right? No, even if you can't get any benefits, you can't let these two people find opportunities accidentally. You must let them go to the master. The man came back to his senses and hurriedly caught up with the two of them. "I saw that you are a pair of little enemies. You have already arrived in the high continent. What a rare thing. Why are you angry? I won't take the hard work. Just follow this. If you go in the right direction, you can get out in about 2 or 3 days." The man was afraid that they would wander around and miss his master's location, so he quickly showed them the way. Yan Xiangluo was still angry, but Jizhong thanked him with a wink. "Senior, you are such a good person, thank you so much." The man waved his hand and said, "No need to thank me, you can leave quickly." Jizhong pulled the awkward Yan Xiangluo towards the path pointed by the man. Yan Xiangluo took out a piece of bacon wrapped in oil paper and threw it to the man. "Senior, if there is no good stuff, please try our delicious food." The man caught the oil paper bag thrown by Yan Xiangluo, patted it with his hand, and smelled it. It smelled really good. It was indeed delicious. He felt relieved after watching the two of them walking in the direction he was pointing, and quickly sent a message to his master. "Master, I have 2 high-quality goods that will arrive within 3 days. After sending the message, the man thought happily that his master would definitely reward him with many good things this time. He opened the oil paper bag and ate the delicious bacon inside. Xuanhuan and Yanxiangluo walked out for a long time until they lost sight of the person. Yanxiangluo quickly pulled Xuanhuan and changed the route. That man has evil intentions and wants to lead us to where his master is, Yanxiangluo explained. From the moment Xuanhuan cooperated with her in acting, Yanxiangluo knew that he also suspected that the man had bad intentions. Xuanhuan asked doubtfully, "How do you know?" Ruanxiangluo was stunned for a moment, and after thinking about it, she said truthfully, "I can read minds. It's the ability I gained after coming out of the royal training ground of Tianshan Empire 3 years ago. But I can hear not everyone's voice, but the level of cultivation I can only hear his voice if he is lower than me. People who are higher than me cannot be too much higher. There are some people who I cannot hear, such as you. Don't ask me how I have this ability. I can't either. I don't know the reason. Anyway, after falling off the cliff, I found that I could hear the voices of the people next to me. This matter can only be explained by telling it truthfully, and since they will be together for a long time, this skill may be used again, and it is not convenient to hide it from him." Xuanhuan did not disbelieve her after hearing her words. He felt in his heart that this girl's luck seemed to have improved since she came out of the royal training ground of the Tianshan Empire. "Your luck seems to have improved since then." Xuanhuan was a little envious of her. He can hear what other people are saying. Who doesn't want this ability? If you have this ability, you can't be deceived by others. Although he doesn't have this ability, no one can deceive him, but having this ability will save your brain. It's not bad. Yanxiangluo shrugged. She also felt that her luck had gotten better since the soul returned. Perhaps it was because she had endured the pain of separated souls since she was born. She had gone through so many hardships at such a young age that even heaven could not stand it anymore. "You said you can't hear my voice. Is it because my cultivation level was much higher than yours before? Try again now." Xuanhuan was a little surprised. There was something special about him, but Yanxiangluo couldn't hear his thoughts. Yanxiangluo shook her head. "When I used mind reading just now, I only heard that person's voice, not your inner voice." She was also curious as to why she couldn't hear Xuanhuan's voice. Before, she thought that Xuanhuan's cultivation level was much higher than hers. Now that they were at the same level of cultivation, she still couldn't hear Xuanhuan's voice. Xuanhuan frowned. Does such a person still exist? Yanxiangluo rolled her eyes at him. "You don't think that I would try to hear anyone I see, right?" Xuanhuan touched his nose in embarrassment. It was true. No power is inexhaustible. Skills like mind reading obviously use the power of spiritual consciousness, which is even more precious. If I hadn't needed it today, I would have forgotten that I have this ability. I haven't used it for a long time." Yanxiangluo was speechless. Xuanhuan said funnily, "You are really a very special person. If others have this ability and want to use it every day, you'd better forget about it." "I believe more in absolute strength," Yanxiangluo said decisively. This is what she is saying, and she is not saying that the ability to read minds is bad or useless. In situations like today, it was used and it helped. She just feels that skills like mind reading can only be an auxiliary. What really helps her solve problems is her actual cultivation strength. Think about whether mind reading is useful when you are fighting with others. Jiju nodded. "I think so too." After finishing speaking, he looked towards the vast snow field. "What other useful news have you heard?" End of this chapter. The Fragrance Falls Ninefold. Author, Midday Sunday. Chapter 250. Chapter 250. Still beautiful. The only useful news is that there are opportunities for newcomers like us in the snow field. As for whether we can get them all, I don't know. That person just doesn't want us to get the opportunities here, and wants us to follow what he points out. Let's go to his master. Yu Xianglou thought of what the man was thinking. No wonder everyone wants to come here. There is an opportunity waiting for them as soon as they arrive. Such a good thing does not happen in Tianqian continent, Ji Zhong said lightly. As for why the man let them go to his master, you don't need to think about it. There must be some way to control them and enslave them to do whatever they want. They who are new here cannot do anything blindly. They should first improve their strength and understand everything about the higher continent. Yan Xianglou glanced at the direction the man asked them to go. Do you think his master lives in the snowy field or outside the snowy field? He said it's 2 or 3 days' journey. Do you think we can get out of the snow field in 2 or 3 days? Ji Zhong reminded her. Yan Xianglou sighed, we are new here, so we should take care of ourselves first. Is it possible that you still want to do harm to the people as soon as you come here? Ji Zhong teased her. Yan Xianglou rolled her eyes at him. Aren't you afraid that your people will be deceived by him later? They don't have the ability like me. Ji Zhong was choked by her words, and then looked at her speechlessly. Are my people that stupid? This time it was Yan Xianglou's turn to be speechless and rolled her eyes at him again. Just make sure there is no one stupid. Seeing that she was a little unhappy, Ji Zhong ignored the question of whether the person discussing him was stupid, and echoed her previous words. You are right. When we first arrive, we should take care of ourselves first and do things to eliminate harm for the people when we have the opportunity. Very good. Yan Xianglou just wanted to argue with him to relieve her emotions. Seeing that he didn't argue with her, she was too embarrassed to argue with him anymore, so she said, accumulate merit and get more blessings. This sentence was often said by my grandmother who practiced Buddhism in another life, but now she uses it here. The two of them walked aimlessly. Ji Zhong said, although we don't have cotton padded clothes, we can wear more layers of single clothes. Yan Xianglou thought about it, found a few cotton underwear, took off the coat, and put it on layer by layer. After all, cotton is warmer than gauze clothing. After wearing 7 or 8 layers, I couldn't put it on any longer, so I put on my coat, and continued to put it on layer by layer. I didn't stop until I couldn't put it on anymore. The same goes for Ji Zhong. The two of them wore so many layers of clothes, but their figures still looked good. It's just that there's really nothing I can do about the shoes, and they can't be worn in pairs. When the spiritual power was removed, I shivered immediately. Although it was not as cold as before, it was still freezing all at once, and I still needed to use my spiritual power to protect my feet. But this saves a lot of spiritual energy, and fortunately it can last a little longer. 10 layers of sheets are not as good as 1 layer of cotton, Yan Xianglou muttered, and glanced at the falling snowflakes in the sky. It makes sense, Ji Zhong agreed. Yan Xianglou took out a piece of red silk as a scarf and wrapped her head tightly, leaving only a pair of eyes. Now her whole body was red. Looking at Ji Zhong, he took out a piece of red silk and handed it to him. Don't dislike it. It's both warm and conspicuous. Otherwise, with your clothes, I wouldn't be able to find you if we were separated. Ji Zhong glanced at the snow-white brocade robe with dark silver patterns on his body. At this time, he was competing with Xuanhuan. Standing in the wind and snow, he almost merged with the snow field. Who said I despise what you gave me? Ji Zhong took the red silk that Yan Xianglou gave him, followed her example and wrapped his head tightly, leaving only a pair of burning phoenix eyes to look at the fragrance falls. The red scarf made a person who was originally cold feel warm all of a sudden. Yan Xianglou's apricot eyes curled up. He is indeed the most handsome man in Tianqian continent. Even in this condition, he is still very beautiful. Ji Zhong twitched the corner of his mouth and said, thank you for the compliment, Miss Yu. If someone had complimented him on his beauty, he would have died a long time ago. You see, he is still very doting on his beloved little girl. Yan Xianglou laughed out loud, and the crisp sound echoed in the wind and snow, making Zhizhong's mood soar. Why did he feel that he was not so cold anymore? After the two of them are done, they continue to move forward. You also heard that person say that the lower continent and the higher continent are one. A higher continent has many lower continents. So how many such existences are there in the 3,000 small worlds? Yan Xianglou thought about that. The words of human beings said with emotion. No matter how many there are, they will eventually lead to the ninth heaven. Zhizhong hit the point in one sentence. Because of Zhizhong's words, Yan Xiangluo's desire that had been buried in her heart came out. Her goal was to step on the land of Zhikong and see the evergreen trees that bloom once every 1,000 years as long as the heaven and earth. Thinking of this, she remembered the dream she had when she got the divine bead in the secret realm of Lingquan. She had to confirm whether Zhikongtian was what she had in her dream. Thinking of the divine beads, she felt depressed again. She had been refining the divine beads smoothly before, but then she couldn't refine them for some reason, so she stopped. She still doesn't know the reason. Her cultivation is different from that of normal people. Until now, her lotus platform has not really been revealed. Now the nascent soul is wrapped like an egg, and the lotus platform cannot even be seen. She doesn't know when the lotus platform will be revealed. Really show up. Her beautiful star-like eyes erupted with blazing light. No matter how difficult it was, she would not back down. Yan Xiangluo looked up at the vast sky. She could see nothing but wind and snow. She said in a yearning voice, "I wonder where the road to the 9 heavens is." Zhizhong was very happy after hearing her words. Look, the little girl he likes has the same goal as him, and there is deep yearning in his tone. I will always know. Yan Xiangluo retracted her gaze and put aside those unrealistic thoughts. They still had a long way to go if they wanted to go to Zhikongtian. Let's look at the present first and think about how to find the opportunities here. Zhizhong raised his hand to block the drifting snow. My spiritual sense can't detect anything. It's useless to stop where I am. It will only make it colder. Let's look for it while walking. It was the first time that Yan Xiangluo and his wife experienced snowy weather. Although they were curious, they were more worried. There was heavy snow everywhere and there was no place for them to rest. If they could not find their own opportunity to leave here as soon as possible, I can't stand the cold alone. Have you felt that the snow is getting heavier and heavier? Yan Xiangluo asked. Zhizhong reached out to catch a snowflake, looked at it and said, "Indeed, the snowflakes have become bigger." End of this chapter.